Hey everybody, it's Ann Forster and welcome to Reaper ToolBox Live, where we are continuing in our odyssey, never-ending odyssey of painting Dance of Death by Julie Guthrie. Hey guys! I hope you're all doing well today. School is starting soon. How many of you are students? Do we have any students actually in the chat, or are you all already in school or getting ready for it? Chat is probably tiny right now, so I should save that question and ask it later. Or are you like me and escaped school long ago and are quite pleased about that? Oh, I'm going to put veins on the rest of the wings. Working adult, yep. Ah. Just started as in, like, is old enough to finally go to school, Grim? Or just started in that just had to go back to school because the year started? Mother of Dragons, if your kids start soon, does that mean you have dragons for kids? Like, and where is there a school for dragons? Just saying. Because I don't know if I would want to visit that school, but it sounds like I would want to, but maybe regret it. School for dragon kids. Non-zero value school could not handle you. Hello, Casvania. Hello, everybody. Hey, Lady Dardago.
Hello, guys.
Hello. Non-zero value, yes. I also was ejected from the system long ago, and I am quite pleased with that. I always think about going back. Like, now that I'm adult and probably would have a lot more fun learning awesome things, I have considered it. But then again, it takes so much time, and my life is so darn busy as it is. I pretty much call myself nuts when I think about it. Just got home from work. That's right. We have many people in different geographical locations.
Congratulations, AJ Payne. They're expecting in about a month.
Ooh. Yeah, isn't that scary? Like, AJ, seriously? Like, I was thinking about that. I mean, I don't have kids. But recently I kind of had to talk with myself about, you know, if I meet the awesome guy who wants one, would I even be open to the idea? And then I was just thinking about everything you have to handle when you've got, you know, when you're actually going to have kids, like all of those things that suddenly you have to do. And I was like, ah! So I totally admire you people who have children and somehow manage to keep your lives together. I don't know if I could. All right. You know, let's switch to minicam.
Hey, Rhonda, how you doing?
Oh, yay. Is there a Rhonda in the studio?
Yes, there is. Well, not in the studio.
Oh, there you are. Well, she's still in the studio. She counts.
You know what? You're right.
She's virtually in the studio, just like everybody. I just imagine that you're all sitting on little chairs right behind me, you know, so I can feel suitably stalked during stream time. Try not to screw up too badly. We're going to do more... Yeah, you're overwhelmed just thinking about what you still need to do. I know, right? Your to-do list just got infinitely larger. Everly enough. Yeah, I have 3. Don't do it. Oh, non-zero value. Masters in UX design. I wouldn't be able to paint minis as much. I know that's the problem, right? Like, we all need an option button to step outside of time to give more time to our hobbies. Shotokami. Actually, I'm wearing reading glasses. These are not, I usually do not wear glasses. I actually have better than 20/20 vision in my natural vision. But my close-in vision started to go downhill when I hit a certain age. So I use reading glasses for mini painting now so I can see the fine details. I used to be able to paint like this without glasses. Oh, yay! Okay, good. Rhonda's going to hang out and paint with us. That's super fantastic. Oh, thanks, Karinigo. I'm glad that you think the veins look awesome. Oh, licorice flavored tea is the best. Norwegian Gadget Man. Yay! Yeah, Samus, that's what they told me when I went in, because I was like, well, you know, I haven't ever gone to an eye doctor since I was a little kid, and they made me go to assess my vision the first time. So I went to an eye doctor last year, and they assessed me, and my regular vision is better than 20/20, is what they said. It's only when I get close in that it starts to suffer. So long distance, yeah, I can see. It's too bad I'm not like like an expert marksman or something, or I could make that whole claim about being able to see a gnat on a fence post in pea soup fog at 40 paces. I have superpowers. Got it. Hey, that's the doctor. Well, they didn't say I had superpowers. That would not be that kind of doctor, probably. That would probably be in a top secret government facility where they tell you that. But But yes, they did say excellent, excellent, better than 20/20 vision. Which actually, my great aunt had. I'm gonna do some veins, by the way, guys. Let's actually talk about stuff about painting. So I'm gonna do veins similar to what I did here. And most of you guys were on last week's stream, so you know that I kind of looked at actual visual references to do the veins. We determined that veins start at the edges and go inward across the wing, and they often clump together at edges, and sometimes they travel perpendicularly, but not always. Usually they're going across the surface. You want to make just kind of a random squiggly, and you want to kind of make your line thinner as it goes toward the middle, because usually the veins are thicker toward the edges, because that's where they're hooking up to larger vessels coming down these wing struts. Hello, Channer. Channer, is your name from, are you a CJ Cherry fan? Or is that just like a name that you have because you like the name? Because there's a science fiction author I like who has a book about an alien house that has that name. I'm going to thicken up my lines here. I'm using a really fine brush. I think this is actually a Winsor Newton Series 7, which is weird. I just had a double aught Winsor Newton Series 7 standard series, not miniature series, on my plate. You are a TJ Cherry fan. Awesome. Well met. I've been a huge fan of hers forever. Wonderful science fiction writer. For those of you not overly familiar, she won a Hugo Award eons ago for a book called Down Below Station. Still one of the best science fiction novels out there. She does amazing characterizations of alien species. Her Foreigner series is fantastic. I can't say enough about CG Cherry. I really like her. And she was nice enough to sign my ancient, beat-up, dog-eared copy of Down Below Station, too, so when I met her at a con. And said that she likes to sign the beat-up books better than she likes to sign the new books, because then she knows at least they were loved. Yeah, she's one of my super faves, too. She's in my list of my top 5, for sure. I still go back and reread the Foreigner series every once in a while. And the Chainer series as well. How about the rest of you? Do you have any top science fiction or fantasy authors that you love? Speak out. Let's talk books today. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're doing a paint giveaway. I should tell everybody what the giveaway is, actually. Hold on. Let me get this little thing going here. Veiny things. More veiny things. Connect the veiny things. All right. So veins. Okay, so giveaway. Today, I just decided, because, you know, we are getting close to ReaperCon here, and we've been giving out Drown Nipple Pink for forever, but I thought it might be nice to give out the set of paint that I'm actually using to paint this dragon, more or less. So that's going to be blue liner and dragon white, which is how I'm making my blue membranes and belly for the black dragon here. And then the Runic Purple and the Swamp Green. So that's what we got so far. And then the Russet Brown and Creamy Ivory I was using for his claws and horns. And then the Bright Skin Shadow that I was using to glaze the wings to get that fleshy color, and also for like his mouth and stuff. So just an interesting block of colors that I figured a lot of you might not have. So that is our color selection that we are giving away today. All the colors that Anne is using to paint the dragon, or darn near. I typically do, by the way, hold myself to a pretty limited palette on projects just because I enjoy it. I tend to like to kind of challenge myself to stick within a limited color gamut, and so by doing that, okay, Terry Brooks and Ari Salvador, yep. Greek Nakos. Cool. Paint chips, color chips. I've been seeing a lot of people do that lately. Doing swatches for their paints so that they have a better understanding of like coverage and color, and that's a great idea. It's nice to play with. It's nice to take that a step further too and do some mixes. Let's see, gonna do a couple of little veins. Little tiny veins. There we go. Make it heavier toward the outside. That's doing pretty well. I'm gonna skip a space here because we want to make it not too symmetrical. Ursula Vernon. I'll have to look her up. I've heard of her, but I don't think I've read her books. Let me make a note of that. Norwegian. Let me see here. Where's my pen? There's my pen. See, this is why I asked you guys this question, so I can get like new reading recommendations. Doo-doo-doo. I have to make sure that I remove my sticky note though that Justin has for his reference for sending you guys the free paint we're giving away. So Ursula Vernon, got it. Any recommended book to start with on her Norwegian Gadget Man? Digger Omnibus, is that it? Oh yeah, Ursula Le Guin is a goddess. That woman, she was amazing. Yeah, watercolor pad works really good too. Actually, that's what I do. I own that book, Everlina. I really like that one. Robin McKinley's been one of my favorites since I was a teenager. Her book, Deerskin, influenced my own writing a lot. I do stuff on watercolor pads also, RGE Wolf. Actually, when I do a new paint line for Reaper, I should bring that up one of these days and show you guys. I do color swatches on a big, I divide up a big sheet on a watercolor pad, and I do swatches for every color in the paint line as I complete the colors. So by the end, I've got this awesome, you know, grid of the new paint line. I'm going to just spread these guys up a little bit more. Let's get another vein going this way. Another vein going this way. Not being too precise about this up here. There we go. That's doing pretty well. Digger is a comic series. Okay. So book 9 Goblins. Okay. Got it. I'll look up 9 Goblins. Ah, wooden discs. Yeah. And then you have like paint chips, paint poker chips. You could assign a value to each one next time for your poker night. But then you'd have to like assign a value to the different colors. I don't know. They might get mad if you played favorites. There we go. Gotta get these a little bit stronger toward the outside edges now. Oh, and for those wondering what color I'm using, normally I'd use a color like 9002 Deep Red for this, but I could mix a fairly close facsimile by taking clear red and blue liner and mixing them together. So that works too. Non-zero value. Yeah, Michael Moorcock, classic. Yes, please let's permit. Sorry, Twitch. Twitch chat is so confused by author names. That is a real author name. Come on. All right, so we've got some nice veins, and I guess I could actually like connect one here. It's just kind of a suggestion that it's connecting. There we are. There, that breaks it up pretty nicely. All right, so we got that. Now what we do is, oh yeah, Glenn Cook. Glenn Cook in general, Parisian, good writer. I liked, actually, really, when I was a teenager, I loved the Garrett P.I. series, the fantasy detective series. Just a really good, fun read. Let's see here. So now I want to glaze, because I want those veins to look like they're underneath the skin, and the skin is that blue-gray. So I'm going to take some of that and mix it with some white. Oh, I also wanted, that reminds me of something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. Hold on while I mix up a glaze, and then I will. Question, were you the NMM? I have the gold set from last Kickstarter. Do you have advice on what grays to use for NMM silver? Grim, actually, normally I start with cloudy gray with a little bit of a blue mixed in, and it really doesn't matter what blue you use. You could also mix in a little bit of purple. Blue essentially is kind of your default if you want kind of a sky reflection kind of look. Adding any color at all keeps your silver from looking too flat. Well, we have lots of chat. Let me see. What else? Oh, yes. Some people have been saying that in our current Kickstarter, the one we just released, Bones 4, that the Moonstone Blue, Carbon Black, and Foggy Gray is a good one. Like, you'd have to mix the Moonstone with a little bit of the Carbon, probably, to get a decent, like, mid-gray starting tone. but the Moonstone is a bluish gray, so it would essentially give you that hint of blue in it, and then you could use the carbon for your really dark shadows and the foggy gray for your highlights. What was the happy sound? We had a happy sound, Justin.
We did. That was a follow. I believe that puts us at 1,000 followers.
We have 1,000 followers. Whoever you are, whoever just followed us, congratulations! You are the 1,000th follower. Like, we should give them a set of paint, just like the one we're giving away for free. Do we know who it is?
Yes, actually, I do.
Oh, would they like some paint?
If they speak in chat and they're interested in paint, we can do that.
Oh, so yes, person who just followed us, if you want free paint, talk. Samus, I love your emoticons. Yes, talk to us, talk to us. Talk to us, 1,000th follower. And we will give you stuff, because that's just awesome. All right, so I'm mixing a glaze, and a glaze is a very, very, very thin paint. M Shelf Damage is the 1,000 follower. Would you like some free paint? We will totally give you free paint for being our 1,000th follower. We are so excited.
All right.
Super awesome. Justin will tell you how to get the free paint.
We will. We're going to draw 2 more sets of that paint. So, in this circumstance. Oh, look at that. It's
Yay,
a cheer.
bits.
Thank you.
Yay!
It's been a while since we got bits.
Tasty, tasty bits.
But you want to email me at reaperlive@reapermini.com with your shipping information, your Twitch handle, and all of that. And then we will ship out your paints as soon as we can. Usually by about, Monday is usually by the time we ship everything. So.
Yeah, and ReaperCon is coming, so we're super busy, but we'll do our best.
Exactly.
All right, so glazing. I mixed up this this lighter version of the blue-gray I used for the wings. And as you can see, when I paint it over this white palette, it is like almost non-existent. See how thin it is? So you want it to be close to invisible. You do want a bit of color there because you want it to kind of fade out these lines without covering over them. It'll also blend in my choppy brush strokes from when I did my wet blend on the white into the blue to get a little bit of a highlight down here on the wing. A glaze should be applied extremely quickly in one layer as fast as you can do it. And then you slurp off, that's totally a technical term, slurping. You slurp off the excess and let it just settle and dry. You do not want to let it pool because you've essentially applied so much water to the paint you've broken it. So it will dry in weird shapes and rings if you let any of it pool. But if you put it on in one thin layer and don't let any pools develop, it'll dry in one beautiful thin layer. So that is, email address again, please, he asked Justin. Well,
sorry, say that again. Oh, the email address is, and actually, just in case you're curious, this goes up on YouTube afterwards, and that email will be listed in the description, just in case. But it is reaperlive@reapermini.com. I'll type it in chat right now.
Awesome. That's Justin. He's super helpful. Okay, ultra coverage is just our tagline for Bones, you guys. So Bones have always been, that's what Ed decided to kind of call the line. It's like HD was high density, so he decided that Bones needed a tagline too. So since they also technically were high density, but a separate line from HD, he decided ultra coverage was the way to brand them. So they are Bones. They are the regular Bones. It's just going to be a complete set of Bones because we've actually, and I assume that I can talk about this. I'm going to talk about it anyway. He can yell at me afterwards. Double-sided brush for glazing. Interesting. So the new bone sets, the big ones and the new pistol cases are, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm not falling away from other questions. You guys are going fast. So it's going to be the regular Bones line and then the Dungeon Dwellers because they have Bones item numbers. So you're going to, essentially there will be a set with like the tail end of regular Bones and Dungeon Dwellers. And then there's also, get excited those of you who liked HDs, some of the HDs are staying in print and just being rolled into Bones, on the tail end of Bones. And the reason for that is that a lot of the HDs were used in things like our Learn to Paint kits or our starter set. So those colors are staying limitedly in print. I think you will be able to buy them singly, but I do not know right now. Right now, they won't come out until like set 5 or 6 of the new Bones Ultra Coverage sets. So just so you know. Alona Andrews is an amazing writer, and I love them. It's a husband and wife team. Kate Daniels' series is fantastic. I like it a lot. It's actually, I don't read much urban fantasy, but I make an exception for Alona Andrews, Kuruniko. All right, I'm going to drop a little bit more water into this glaze because you can always put 2 coats on, but if your first coat is too thick, you've kind of screwed up. So very, very thin glaze, and I'm going to just rinse out. I rinse out my brush all the time. I'm going to fill up my brush, big brush, with goo, i.e. glaze. Do I ever use an airbrush when painting minis? Really, really rarely, Lucadio, or Lucadio. I am not an airbrusher, and I came to it really late, and I'm still trying to get into a comfort zone with it. My big problem with it is that unless I'm doing something really big, I'm faster at just using a brush at this point for most things, unless I really need that really just incredible fade quality that airbrushing can give you. But most techniques that you can do with airbrush, I can do with brush, and I don't have to do all the cleanup or the setup. So yeah, I don't reach for it very often, but when I'm gonna go to painting bigger stuff, then it's really useful. And really useful for base coating big things like dragons, terrain, stuff like that. Charles DeLint, also a longtime fan. Yep. Veins on top of the wings or no? Shotakami, probably not. They would be there, but they wouldn't be visible necessarily on the black. Whereas on the underside, where it's a light color and the light is shining through the wing, presumably a little bit, you would see it more, I think. I mean, maybe if I'd gone lighter with the membranes up here, I could get away with it, but I don't think I could do it otherwise. I don't know if Griffin Tan is one of the ones being saved. I don't think it's in any of the sets. All right, let's just glaze this sucker. Oh, that might be too strong. And if it's too strong, right away, you grab some water and you just thin it down. And that might be too thin. So then you grab more paint. This is Anne essentially going, wee, I can do all stuff because I can. You got to be brave. Fearless, people, fearless. And even when you think you're screwing it up, be fearless. Now it needs more water. There we go. And just pull it down. The key here is not to panic and to work with it while it's all still wet. It's dripping off the downside of that wing. There, that's about right, actually. And while it's still wet, I'm wicking off any excess paint. Remember, I don't want it to dry in pools. And yes, I got it all over my little wing strut. That's why we don't paint the wing struts before we're done with the membranes, because we know we're going to be doing big, messy things to the membranes. And we know that these wing struts are going to get hit over and over again with our oopses. So I missed this part over there. This is, by the way, the difficulty of doing a pale glaze. Pale glazes are harder to do than dark glazes. Dark glazes tend to be very, very easy because darker paints are naturally translucent. It's just a feature of most of the pigments that you're dealing with. All right, this is going to start drying soon, so I have to stop messing with it, but there. Samus, a paintbrush is romantic. Oh, I missed something. Can you scroll up a little bit, Justin? I was trying to panic and trying not to panic and to fix my wing. So I need to know what Greek said that Grim is responding to.
Okay, let's see here.
Oh, I assume it's Pathfinder paints then.
How are the metallics?
For Pathfinder?
Yeah.
Okay, so the sexiest color in the Pathfinder line for metallics is the copper, guys. Seriously, sexy color. Also very different from any other copper we've ever done. Would you consider base coating argent a good application for an airbrush? Yes, because he's huge. You're already going to be painting him over and over because you're going to have to paint the scales, shade the scales, highlight the scales. And he's going to be like, argent is one of those daunting projects because if you paint him silver or any metallic dragon base, it's hard to make it exciting, right? Sexy copper. You should be intrigued, Arcane Void. But yeah, because silver is really like, well, it's just a gray, it's silver, right? So ideally you want to add in some different colored shadows or something interesting, but it could still be very monotonous. Any dragon is monotonous, whether it's red or green or whatever, or silver. You end up going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm still painting this color. And that's the reason why I went with a different color for the underside of the wings here on the black dragon and stuff, because I wanted to change it up. Otherwise, I'm just painting nothing but black highlighted with purple and green, and it does get monotonous over time. So one screwed up glaze, was not sufficient to totally tone down our veins, but it did tone them down quite a bit, just not quite to this level. But on this one, I also did a glaze. See that rosy tone? I also did a glaze with bright skin shadow. So I think I'm going to do that next. Do I think that's going to be enough? I think it is going to be enough, so I'm going to try that. Argent will be the second. You're daunted. He will be gray and probably edge the scales. That's a good idea, Shotokami, because then you could even go with a darker gray, and then when you edge the scales with silver, they'll really pick up the light. That is actually a pretty good idea. Our metallic paints, just so you know, actually look brighter over a darker base coat. So if you did it that way and you went with a darker gray for the base, it would actually make the silver edges stand out more. It's just the way that our flake tends to work. It's the way that light bounces through them. Or passes through them and bounces off stuff. What was the happy noise?
That would be a follower.
Ah, yay! Yay, follower. Pretty soon, like, you know, I'll start to understand, like, the follow sound as opposed to the bits sound, as opposed to the, you know, pledging to us, giving us your awesome, you know, pledges stuff. There we go. Okay, sub. That's what it is. Not pledges, subs. I need to get it down. Terminology, Anne. Terminology. All right. Another happy. That was another follow, right? Yay! All right. So I've got some bright skin shadow. There he is. There. Aha. Right there. It's actually pinker than it looks. And we're going to throw a bunch of water into it because that's how we make a glaze. Decided I was going to move pretty fast on these wings today because I really do want to get them to a done level so I can go back to the dragon. Yes, lots of freeze. Yes, guys, today for our free giveaway, we're giving away a set of 7 colors that I'm using to paint this dragon. So the Runic Purple and the Blue Liner and the Russet Brown and the Swamp Green and the Creamy Ivory and the Bright Skin Shadow and the Dragon White. All pretty cool colors. And many of you may not have some of those. So, free paint! Free paint! And if you get something you already have, just give it to a friend. Addict to them. Make them Reaper paint minions. Gray Blues Triad. Yeah, okay. That would actually be pretty good start. I always thought that blue-gray made a silver more interesting, Shotokami, so I think you're doing pretty well. Grim, dark color specifically works with metallics if you base with it. So usually, like if I'm going to paint gold, I actually base coat in blackened brown or russet brown. And if I was doing a silver, I would do a dark gray, like carbon gray or stormy gray, because the silver is just going to naturally look brighter on that. And the reason for it is that our metallic flakes are translucent. So essentially light passes through them very easily. So if they're over a white or a light color, it just doesn't look as bright. But over dark color, the contrast is more marked, and so you see more of a shininess. You're disrupting your D&D sessions with Bones catalogs? I kind of laud you for that, sibling. Yes, free paint, free paint, free paint. I keep forgetting to like make you guys like up some special bottles of like paint that nobody else has. Like I have these things, although they might actually go in the next Kickstarter now, so I might have to be good. All right, so again, glazing with the skin tone this time, making it very, see how watery it is. I'm hoping this one works a little better. Now, I was talking about this a moment ago, and I get distracted because, yeah. So highlight with a darker color when base coating argent. Highlighting is different than base coating. Base coat with a dark color if you're base coating argent. If you're going to go to a metallic for highlighting the scales is probably the best way to put it, Grim. Essentially, whatever you're going to put down a metallic, base coat with a dark color first, and it makes it look shinier. And then you can highlight with metallics, or you could highlight with a mixture of metallic and regular paint, or you could do whatever. Why did I decide to use the green glaze over the black on this dragon that I am working on? Good question, Shotokami. Yeah, this guy. Let's put Mr. Dragon up here. Yeah, so we got a little bit green. We got some purple on there too. Dragon. There he is. I really like Swamp Green as a highlight for black dragons. I like both greens and purples. So I decided to kind of mess around with both on this dragon to see if I liked one better than the other. And the effect I end up liking the best was actually painting with the purple and then glazing over it with the green, like here on the side. Kind of gave it almost an opalescent look. So I'm probably going to do a lot of the dragon that way. And get that kind of like that slide from purple to green. I think it's really neat. It keeps the dragon a little bit more interesting. I like to highlight black dragons with colors because I think it can get very, very boring very fast if you just go with the gray or even a blue-gray.
You dipped his tail.
I dipped his tail. He has a blue tail. Well, that's okay because the tail was just base coated. Poor dragon dipped his tail. It's a good thing it wasn't painted yet. Now, normally, if you do that and the dragon has actually been painted there, what you would immediately do is dip the whole tail in your water cup. Because if you can do that before the paint has set, you can actually scrub off all that paint without harming the underlying coats. Bet you didn't know that. All right, we're going to glaze. Depends on... I agree, Arcane Void. This is a pretty model. Yeah. The package has to be big enough to include a catalog, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. We're not selling them, right? They're not.
I don't think so. They've always been free.
There was talks of us also including, because this makes sense to me, and I'm sure it makes sense to you guys too, including a digital version on the website that you can just download and look through if you really want to.
That would be really smart.
Or even print out.
Like
if
PDF. Yeah,
correct.
give us a PDF of the Bones catalog because, then we can spend even more money.
But we had talked about that.
Indulging in our wonderful hobby that makes life worthwhile.
Oh, we do sell them. Apparently they're $1.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense. Printing costs have gone up since the days when I remember them always being free. I'm just playing with the glaze right now, trying to smooth it out.
Yeah, outside of the actual design of the catalog originally when we redid it and all the photos that were taken, which were taken by me.
Yeah.
Outside of that, my involvement was really limited, so I don't know what we did with it.
Oh, Grim went and dug out. Yeah, that was the other thing. Shotokami. Oh, you're working on a black. Base coated dark blue and then did black ink. Yeah, that can look really good. Shotokami. I think that highlighting scale edges with metallics on a black or a dark dragon can be really good. And yes, Dragon 111, awesome cover, and was originally my inspiration for these guys, Grim. Then it went kind of sideways because I ended up using less brown and green and more purple and green. But that's what happens when you're doing creative stuff. You start out with an idea and then it goes sideways. And usually you end up with something like still cool. Super dumb off-topic question. How do you clean the wells of your paint palette once the paint dries? Don't do that, Dr. Bob. Really, it depends though. Like you need a porcelain palette for my simple solution. If you bought a plastic palette, there is no simple solution, sadly. That's why plastic palettes are like, really cheap and kind of meh. If you have a porcelain palette though, the nice thing about the porcelain is you can put it in the sink, just put hot water in it, and then take a bottle of Simple Green or 409 and just spray a bit of that into the hot water, let it sit for like 5 minutes, and it'll all come up super easy. Get a green scrubby pad, one of those, I forget what brand they are, but you know what I mean, those green scrubby pads that you can cut and stuff. And just keep one of those if you get a really persnickety paint, because sometimes like metallics are really hard to get up. But generally, the hot water with 409 or Simple Green solution in your sink for 5 minutes is good enough even for dried paint, unless you've just been caking it up. If you've been caking it up, like you've been painting over, leaving it dry and then painting into it again, and you've got like five layers, then you might need to let it soak for a bit longer. Yeah, you can also just soak it in soap a couple days.
I've had to do that before.
Nail polish remover, acetone will work. Oh, really? Elmer's PVA glue over it in plastic. That's crazy talk. I didn't know that, Shotokami. Maybe I'll have to try that. I have some Elmer's glue. Yeah, ceramic palettes should be really easy to clean up if with a bit of Simple Green 409. So look, we have another wing, and it looks very comparable to our first wing now, and we're just missing that center highlight that I did. So we can do that with layering. So I'm going to mix up a layering mix, which would be white plus our wing color. I wanted to talk a little bit too about these well palettes, like this one that I have with the tons of tiny wells in it. And I love it because it keeps the paint wet for longer. I got a question about this on my Patreon, I think. Gmail, I think, somewhere. I got a question about it, but essentially, how do I keep the paint wet in these? The key for this is that you've got to have big enough paint puddles. So I'm usually using at least like a total of 8 drops of paint, and then I'm adding water to it. And that gives me a big fat paint puddle like this, where it's, you know, fairly close to the top of the thing. What this does is it gives us a nice deep puddle, and there's minimal surface area exposed to the air, which means that these paints will stay wet for a good long time. And then I just add a little bit of water to them if I notice that they're thickening a little bit. But I mean, I easily mix up my paint at the start of paint club on Saturdays, and it goes that 4 hours. I don't have to remix it. Ceramic project. Samus, not terribly. I mean, don't drop it on tile floor or you will break it. But if you drop it on a carpeted floor, as long as you're not dropping it from 6 feet, it should be okay. Shodakami, plastic container lids work. I use that for my Patreon these days because it's easy to show the paint consistency and color over a transparent plastic while I'm doing video. I suppose I should mention my Patreon. I have a Patreon, people. Many of you are already on it. Thank you. It's patreon.com/paintingbig is my Patreon. I do painting and color tutorials and guides. It's fun. We have a good time. And I've got a Discord too. Oh, that brings up my perennial question. Does Reaper have a Discord yet, Justin?
We had acknowledged that we need one.
Okay, well that's a step in the right direction.
Being that between the upcoming Kickstarter and ReaperCon, it's kind of low on our list.
Yes, this is true. This is true. It's the timing. I just keep reminding myself to bug you about it because you're the one who would know if we had one. So let's see.
It is on the itinerary, I promise.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Arcane Void. You ordered this one from Cheap Joe's Art Supplies. Good. Yeah, I mean, I've only had a ceramic palette or a porcelain palette shatter when I dropped it onto a cement floor slab or onto tile. Well, as long as, I mean, if you have tiny, tiny wells like that, Norwegian Gadget Man, it should still work pretty well. Just fill them, you know, get them close to the top. And as long as you are adding water to them, you know, if you just put straight up paint in there, you're welcome, Arcane Void. If you just put unthinned paint in there, I expect they would dry out pretty quick. But the minute you start adding water, which you'd want to do for layering, glazing, washes, any of that stuff, then you should notice that the paint in the well palette stays good for longer. There we go. All right, so I have mixed up a very, very thin pale blue mixture. It is very, very thin. You can hardly see it. I might need to add a little bit more to it. I'm going to test it on this wing. What I want is to get some light color down here, a highlight toward the edge of the wing where light would be coming through it. And I may want to switch to a different brush. I tend to only put like half of my brush into my paint, dip half of it in. You don't want to dip too much of your brush into your paint, or it's going to wick up into the ferrule and make your brush go poof. Nobody likes a brush that goes poof. So I'm just pretty much trying to kind of feather a highlight on the edge, see if I've got enough contrast there, if I can see the highlight when I'm putting it on. Otherwise, I would need to thicken my paint a little bit. I still want it thin enough, though, that it's just kind of subtle. I can just build up layers to make it blend in. I may need a little bit more paint. I can see it. Yeah, like you can see the highlight there, but it's pretty thin. For competition level model, I would go this slow, but for Twitch, probably I want to go a little bit faster. So I'm going to add a little bit more paint. And see if I can make it work. Also, I'm going to switch to a longer brush. Oh, okay, since there's less surface. Okay, for glazing and stuff, you have larger palettes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see larger palettes for glaze if you're building big puddles. Let me grab my Da Vinci. All right, long skinny brush. Long skinny brush. Doop. The other reason I like long skinny brushes is that the paint doesn't wick up the brush as fast as with shorter skinny brushes. So I keep it far away from the ferrule. So I tuned this, I'm doing this, I'm going to move this over here. Somebody's following. Jimmy the Brush is following us. Thank you, Jimmy the Brush. See, now as I learned that happy noise, I'm going to get better at staring up at the monitor and seeing who it was who followed us. So pretty much I'm just kind of trying to see that. Now you can see that lighter highlight there at the edge. And that creates more of an illusion of a thinner membrane, like light is coming through it. And I can also think about that the wing is going to be posed up and down. So I probably want light to be falling on this inner edge here. So I probably want to put a stronger highlight all along this lower edge. And since I'm using thin paint, I can go over my veins a little bit and it won't totally wipe them out. I may avoid them a little bit as I get more into this side here, but we'll see. I'm just using thin paint to build up a layer of highlighting there. First time visiting Story Pro. No, keep asking questions. It's all good. Yeah, I did have an art background before I started painting minis. I went to art school at UW-Madison, University of Wisconsin-Madison. I learned so much more from miniature painting than I ever learned from art school. It's not funny. I used to be kind of mad about that. Like, I went to art school and they never taught me so much about technique. Like, the other funny thing is that in art school, I loved oils and watercolors and I absolutely hated acrylics. And now what did I turn into? A master of acrylics. So that's highly ironic in my mind. But yeah, so mostly my regular art background, actually my favorite medium is colored pencils. It's not paint at all. But now I've gotten to the point where I can do things so much faster and better with acrylics that when I whip out something for 2D, I almost naturally gravitate to acrylic. I have been messing around with gouache a little bit since it's very close to the consistency of miniature paints. Gouache being opaque watercolors. But yeah, my problem with art school was just that they didn't actually teach me a lot of techniques. And if they had taught me techniques, they wouldn't have taught me the techniques that I would be using for this. Because acrylic paint, you know, when you're painting on canvas, more often you're doing thicker texture. You're not doing like super thin applications. I don't like how the art world takes a lot of styles and labels them illustration rather than art. And a lot of the style that I naturally was good at was more, as I called it, more cartoony. I would have gravitated toward something that they would have called illustration. And I just, so yeah. I mean, I still love going to art museums. I still love studying classical art. And I always learn something new when I go to museums and really look at the paintings. But I do think that the modern day art world, you know, can get off of itself just a little bit and embrace more. A lot of our stuff gets classed as hobby art, you know, a lot of stuff out there. And I think that's like cheapens it. I'm like, a lot of this stuff is just as valid art as anything. Including miniature painting. For those of you who've ever seen a really well-painted figure, you know that it's really impressive. And it can evoke emotion and mood and atmosphere and ambience and everything. So I really feel like some of the, as they call them, hobby arts are just as real art as anything else. I don't know that I could go to art school now and stomach it. I would end up fighting with everybody about what was real art and what wasn't. Standing up for the quilters.
Hey, Miss Ann.
Yeah.
You might be happy to know this, but we're at an all-time high for live viewers right now.
We're at an all-time high for live viewers? How many do we have?
60.
Woo! We broke the 60 mark. Thanks, guys. Oh, thank you, Shotokami. Yes, I love my Overwatch statue. I love Overwatch. I actually finally dragged my boyfriend into playing Overwatch recently, and he's having a lot of fun with it. He's actually better at it than I am. Yeah, so I've actually been playing again recently, and it's made me want to paint more of my Overwatch statues. So I'll have to watch that. I don't know if I really need to start Tracer now, suck up another 140 hours of my life. But I'm thinking about it. Yay. Hobby. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Samus. I'm with you. Like, I think that mini painters get a bad rap. Yeah, I'm with you. Lucadio, I am with you, because there's all those weird disconnects in the art world, right? Where modern artists hate classical art, and classical artists hate modern art, and it's all this, like, just get off it, guys. Like, you're always going to not like a style or like a style. That's why you are an artist in the field you're in, right? But I mean, you can learn things about color and composition and mood and atmosphere from both, from classical and modern art. So I just don't get all that. I don't get all the hating. I guess there's haters everywhere, and the art world is no exception, right? Bye, Chinner. It was really nice to have you stop by. That I got to mention CJ Cherry on stream. Super. Yeah, Taveria, I know, that's my problem too. I actually had that more with World of Warcraft because I used to raid. And I noticed I definitely had carpal tunnel issues at the tail end of my raiding career. That was a lot of computer time. Yeah, haters all over the internet. It's all right. We'll get past it. Mini painting will bring us together in love. So I'm liking how this highlighting is going, guys. So see, I'm just putting layering just thinned layers of paint that it's lighter, and it's giving it kind of a luminous effect. And I'm painting them over the veins a little bit, but leaving some of the veins to show through also. So it's giving it a nice, I like the effect that I'm getting, actually. I'm going to fudge out that line a little bit. And I can do that. I can tune. Layering is a great technique for just kind of subtly tuning stuff. Like I did to just take that vein a little less obvious. I can just layer a thin layer of paint over it, and then it's not quite as obvious. So I'm liking... Grim, yeah. Although, you know what? I played D&D and 40K and like all sorts of, stuff, and I like it all. So I see merit in all of it. I frustrate the haters a lot. Like, I think the quilting people get a lot of hate too, and I think that's just ridiculous because those people are insanely good. But they get told they're a hobby craft also, and I'm just like, wait, there are quilts in art museums, so why are, art people like saying that quilters aren't doing art? I don't get it.
I guess my question is why do we have to hate? Why can't we just appreciate all of it?
Why can't we appreciate the world? Yes, exactly. Justin has it.
If something took you any amount of time to do it and you put any passion into it whatsoever, you should be appreciated to some degree, as long as it's not something like
Justin with the PMA.
Yeah.
We have our positive mental attitude.
Nothing crazy.
In place. Stopped reading back in Wrath of the Lich King. That's about when I stopped also, Lucadio. I really loved Wrath of the Lich King, though. That was still, I think that's still my favorite expansion. Pandaria is second. Just because I love the art style in Pandaria. Yeah! Yes, that's why gamers have kids, right? So they can, mini paint and play D&D with their kids. What? Luminators get really? My mom does illuminating. That's so ridiculous. Looms are insanely cool. That's weird. Like, my mom still has a gigantic loom in her living room. It's so interesting. Like, why? I don't understand. Why does everybody have to be better than somebody else? Why can't we all just get along? I'm sniffling now. Happy Moon Master. Hi, Moon Master. Thank you for following us. Oh, yeah. Yeah, always get kids into role-playing games. They will totally get hooked. All right, so our wings are looking pretty good here now, guys. Here, let me bring them down where y'all can see them. So look there. And so today we have made this membrane match that membrane, and we've done it mostly successfully. What I haven't done is this little bit of a pink thing around the outer edge, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to use the same color that I used for my veins there, which is a mixture. It's clear red, a bunch of clear red with a bit of blue liner thrown into it. And I'm going to thin it down to really, really thin consistency because reds can really kind of tint a surface. So this is how thin it is. Like really, you see I paint with colored water a lot, right? If you guys are looking at like what I've been doing this whole time, I paint with colored water all the time. Yeah, I used to run games non-zero value. I used to run games for my little brother. Trying to get your 1-year-old away from his rainbow technique. Grim, I think that lasts until like they're like 7 or 8, and then they get like really cutely serious about it. We have a family that comes to paint club that have 3 little girls, and Maud is their oldest, and she is, I think, 10 now. And she started painting when she was like 5 or 6. And she was in the rainbow phase for a very long time, so just be ready. But now that she is so much older, because the twins come now, because there's one older girl and then 2 twin girls, and the twins, the little ones, are like 5 or 6, and they are totally in the rainbow phase. Oh my gosh. But Maud has gotten so serious about it, you know. She's serious about getting better. They usually do enter at ReaperCon too. They enter the youth division in our painting contest, which is super awesome. Do I write down notes so I'm consistent from one section to another? Actually, Shotokami, this is the advantage of keeping to a very limited palette when I paint, because I usually do stick to a very limited selection of colors. Like I used clear red to paint the dragon's eyes, and so I kept it around. And then when I needed it for this, I just used it. And I was already using the blue liner for the wings, so I can remember pretty easily what I'm doing. So yeah, in that way, and what I tend to do is I tend to keep all the paints for each project in a baggie, in a Ziploc bag. That way I can just grab my project bag for that particular project. And colors like russet brown and white, I usually have on my table anyway, so I might not put those in the project bag, but if there are specific colors that I'm using, they will go in the project bag, and then I can just grab the project bag when it's time to go. And since there's very few colors, there's only like 2 colors I could possibly use to get this color in my project bag, I don't really have to make a note of what it was, because I know, well, I obviously used clear red, and there's a little bit of blue in this and black, so it's got to be blue liner. Oh, look, that went way too thick. No! So if we throw water on it really quick, it goes away. So never panic when you paint incorrectly, guys. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Ishtar Paint Club is Reaper Run. It's on Saturday. It's noon to 4. We pretty much, it's not formal. It's not a formal teaching thing, but I bring my stuff and everybody hangs out. And we all just paint. And if you need help with something or you want feedback, I am there to help you. Most of the time, unless something else is going on. Obviously, during ReaperCon, we are not going to have Paint Club because ReaperCon is one gigantic paint club. Oh, you hadn't seen the eye. Yeah, little dragon. I know I've been doing wings for too long, so there's dragon so far, and I'm kind of messing around with his colors, trying to figure out, you know, how he's going to look. I went a little light on this area. I think I'm going to actually glaze it down, stuff like that. But yeah, yay. Okay. Let's go back. I might need a little bit more red in my red mixture to make it go that blush color over here. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit of clear red. A lot of times, though, Shotokami, because I make the paint line, I have a really good understanding of what pigments are in each color. And that definitely helps me, right? Because I can look at a color and I can usually tell you what's in it. And I can tell you how to tweak it to match stuff. Oh, you haven't watched all the back episodes. I think this is episode 9. Justin, am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been working on this for a while. I'm trying to kind of make good progress on the wings every week because I want to get the wings done so I can go back to the dragon. But wings are huge and take time. I always try to paint them first because they're my least favorite thing to paint. So if you can get them out of the way early, let's see how strong this is. All right, that could be pretty strong. So if you put this down and you're like, oh my gosh, that's way, way too strong. What am I doing? Grab some water and kind of just paint along the edge of what you just did. And what that'll do is blend it in if you do it fast. So if you get too harsh of an edge, you can do it that way. And then that dries and hopefully it will blend in a little bit more. And if not, at least I know I need to thin this a little bit. I just really want that kind of hint of rosiness that I have over here to come over here. There we go. And I'm not going to be too precise about it. I just want kind of that hint. So just so the areas match a bit. Maybe I'll throw in some rosy skin or some bright skin shadow. Don't tell Angie. I do not frown on dry brushing. I actually had a question that was on my Patreons. I have an Ask Me Anything, an AMA every month. And that was a question last month was, do I dry brush? And if so, when? And I actually do dry brush. I secretly love terrain painting. Like, I find it relaxing sometimes to paint big pieces of, like, buildings especially. Not that I haven't gamed for a while, so I haven't done much of it lately, but I do enjoy it. And I do dry brush when I do those There we go. That's a nice blushy color. All right. Cool. Yeah, so now our wings match. Yay! More or less. I could probably feather that a little bit nicer. Layer that to blend it in. I've got a little choppiness up here. But in general, our wing is looking pretty good. In general, I am pleased with our wing. Let's see if I can blend that in just a little bit. Don't quite like how rough it is. That's a little bit better. Probably could tackle it a little bit more if I have time, but I'd like to start on the other one. What time is it, Justin? Okay.
It is 2:30.
Got about half an hour, huh? All right, well, I can at least put veins. Because I like to, I have this thing non-zero value, and it's purely a mental thing with me. I like to paint in sections where I finish out each section. It actually gives me a little boost, because otherwise, if I was doing both wings and I was trying to do the same step on all the sections at once, it would be weeks before I finished any of them. And that really drags me down. Like over the years as a painter, I've learned that really saps my energy. Whereas if I can look and say, hey, I finished a wing section, I've got 2 finished wing sections, that makes me feel good, because then I can see that I finished something, even if I didn't finish the whole wing. So it keeps me going. I think as painters, especially if you tend to stall out on a project or get burned out easily, it's important to kind of figure out those mind games you can play with yourself to give you kind of a little reward that hey, I got something done, or hey, I completed this step, something like that, so that you don't get burned out. I mean, some people have no problem sitting there with 10 army guys and painting the same color on every guy and then going and painting the next color on every guy. That drives me bazonkers. I have to do it like 1 or 2 guys at a time so I can actually see completion on stuff. Or it just I just lose the urge. Dopamine junkie, ha! It's about completion. I guess I did a lot of, I did commission painting for a living before I started in with Reaper, and then I was Reaper staff painter for a long time. So during that time, you get burned out, and you really learn what keeps you going, and more important, what keeps you enjoying the process, right? Because you do so much of it, and you used to love it, and sometimes you forget why you loved it, and then you got to do something to make you love it again. So kind of figuring out, what clicks, right? What makes you really want to keep painting. Yes, less tree base if you don't like it. Yeah, that's true, Norwegian Gadget Man, and that's true on the dragon, on the body, because I'll definitely paint over that shoulder probably. All right, let's do veins on this and almost finish the whole thing. I think I need to thin that a little bit more. Just realized I'm the painting lady. Haha. Jennifer actually lives not far from here. She lives in Plano right now, which is about a half an hour drive. I actually went out to lunch with her 2 weeks ago. But she is not normally here. She does not paint on stream with me. Maybe I'll invite her. Maybe that would be fun. I don't know if she would find it fun or not. Jennifer isn't like a paint in public type like I am necessarily. I always kind of liked it. I found it made the time go by quicker to have people around me. But Jen is most productive when she can put her head down and concentrate, so I don't know if it's her kind of thing. But I can ask. Maybe we can have a little Jen and Ann painting reunion Twitch stream. That would be kind of fun. I think it would be fun. Oh, and this actually reminds me, just so you guys know, since a lot of you are regulars and you can let other people know, next week I have a doctor appointment, so I will not be here on Wednesday. I am not sure if they will subject you to Ed again, or if you will get a surprise bonus stream, or if there will just be no stream. Hopefully we will find somebody to entertain you. But I must drive to Arlington and, talk the medical talk. So wish me luck, and I will be back. The following week is the day before ReaperCon. So I believe Justin was talking about making me do this at the convention center. Is that still a thing, Justin?
It is if you want it to be.
Oh, sure. Put it all on Ann.
I would love to do it. I think people would think it was pretty cool.
Do you guys want me to stream from the con center? Oh, yeah. We could totally import Rhonda for a day. We should do that. Except we're already importing her for ReaperCon, so that might be too many importations, in a short period of time. But yes, we should We should do some importations of painters. I should have some guests, some special guests. All of my guests would be special, of course. There we go, doing more veins. And since this membrane is a slightly different shape, I'm kind of trying to mix it up a little bit as far as where my veins are coming from. Because I always want them coming from where there would be a lot of blood flow, so that's probably the arm here. So I need to have a few more veins coming out of the arm up here.
The episode will likely, I say likely, will air about the same time, so it may not actually be open to people. People may not be in there. Just depends on...
Depends on if I want live heckling as well as my online heckling.
It kind of depends on how the setup goes and all that sort of stuff.
And Anne's energy level.
That
and
too.
how crazy I feel at the time.
A lot of variables.
We could do a... I don't know if we want to do a... Do we want to just give them a tour of ReaperCon? Like, that'll be during setup. Like, we could kind of do, like, kind of a neat walk around, show people the setup thing.
We might be able to do that.
Yeah. Because the con isn't actually on Wednesday, and we do have people to pick up from the airport and stuff. That was my only concern, because I know I'm picking up at least one person. But we can plan around and see what we could do. I
will say that even if you're not going to be at the convention, you should plan on tuning into the channel because we will be doing stuff all during ReaperCon. Yes,
Justin justifies his paycheck during ReaperCon by streaming nonstop, pretty much.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of crazy from ReaperCon. But yes, we could do an Anne segment and see. I don't know. We'll have to see. I will think about it, but I'm up for it, as long as we can plan it around everything else that's going on, and we aren't annoying people or underfoot at the con center. Or, I mean, normally I like being underfoot, but you know, sometimes Ed gets that murderous look in his eye, and you're just like, okay, I'm done. All right, shaky cam ReaperCon walkthrough. Oh yeah, have you done a factory walkthrough with the cam?
We shot some stuff a couple of times, but Ed didn't want to use it yet, and then we ended up breaking it down based on departments. So we've actually done one of paint, if you remember correctly. Remember that was the one that John did, the little tour that we did.
Oh, right. Yep.
I think we did casting, or we shot casting and mold making. Those have yet to come out because of other things that they want to include. It's you know.
I think those veins look pretty good. I like these veins. I'm gonna go with these veins, guys. And then remember, I've got to thicken them up where they're coming out of the arm and up against the struts here. Those are pretty thick. This one's pretty good. That's good. A little bit more here. Let me see here. You land on Wednesday? Don't know. Yeah, I need to see. I need to see when I have to do the airport pickup, Rhonda, and see if our schedules converge. Right? Maybe we need to shoot a little bit later in the day. Justin, are you wanting to? Do you have a schedule?
During ReaperCon, no. I expect
like the Wednesday.
I expect I'll be sleeping at the stream table. So I will be there most of the entire.
Most of the everything.
Most of the everything, yes.
So if Rhonda and I say maybe wanted to stream this stream, I don't
Wednesday
know.
night, if you wanted to, that's fine
yeah,
too.
Like before the meet and greet or something. Mm-hmm. You know, like that.
Yeah, if you guys are up to it. And the convention itself is set up, and I'm not.
Thanks, Cleo. I like it too. I think it's turning out pretty good.
Since we have to set up the paint contest as well, there's lots of logistics there to work out. So
yeah. Arcane Void. Everybody is hypnotized by the robot that spits out plastic bases, and also the robot that pumps paint. Those are just naturally hypnotic things. All right, I need to get my light glaze tacked down here to the right level. Are you glazy? Oh, so the reason that glazing with light colors is really a pain in the butt, guys, just so you know, is because you're working with something that has a lot of white in it. And white, its natural tendency is to cover because it's a very opaque pigment. So when you're trying to make it do things that are transparent, it fights you. And that's why getting a good light colored glaze down can be a challenge. It doesn't naturally want to do that. You're working against the natural properties of the paint. Whereas when you're glazing with a dark color, you're actually working with the natural properties of the paint, because most dark paints, most dark pigments are more translucent. Often you're dealing with like blues, greens, purples, and they are much more translucent. Even a dark brown can be built to be a little bit more translucent. I have a little hair. I'm gonna get off there. Yay! So there we go. That was almost a perfectly applied glaze. Look, did you see how fast that went down? And it was really thin, and it almost didn't pool. Now we're looking like the wing is like getting done. This is a gigantic brush. This is actually a size 2 non-zero value. It's a Da Vinci Maestro. It's their full bellied round, so it's their series 11. It's about equivalent to a Reaper Kolinsky size 2. Alliance Games paint department. Oh wow. Yeah, Lucadio, our production, we used to do everything by hand. When I joined the company, we did everything by hand. And a lot of it is close to by hand now. Like one of our paint things is really just a bunch of pumps that you do actually operate by hand. What is it about the paint that seems to create a powdery or dusty surface appearance? Usually that's if you're thinning too much and it's a light paint, Dr. Bob. You can get that chalky appearance. You can't, I'm trying to think, there are just some paints that tend to do that. Some of the lighter skin tones can do that. And it could just be that it's fallen out of solution because it's thinned a bit much. So the way to fix it is actually to glaze over it with a slightly deeper color. Like what I would do is if I was working with, say, the fair skin triad and I got a chalky highlight, is I would actually take tanned skin, which is a medium skin tone, and I would thin it down to like just really thin and put a glaze of that over the top of the fair skin, and it would fix the problem. Yeah, less water would help. But then you're fighting it, right? You got to get that sweet spot where it's like less water, but still thin enough to layer correctly, right? Or glaze right. That's why thin glazes and stuff can be really difficult. All right, so we've got our veins. Now we need our pink. We need our next glaze. I'm going to see if my paint is still correct consistency. I think it is. I might need just a tiny tad of water just to make sure. I can always put 2 layers on, but you can't take it off. Oh, yeah. Pale green can do that. Pale green, whenever it's a paint, some of our paints have a little less of a pigment load just because we were trying to hit a specific color, and that can cause that issue. But yeah, if you glaze with a slightly deeper green, I'm trying to think of a good one. Viper green, maybe, Grim, for pale green. Viper green's really vibrant, has a lot of pigment in it, and it wouldn't shift the color too much to put a glaze of that over pale green. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to paint on our skin color, which is, of course, Bright Skin Shadow. Very counterintuitive, since we are glazing over a blue with an orangey color. It's going to mute it out and make it look a little bit more gray, as you noticed with the previous membranes. Oh, these glazes are working really well now. See, we've got it all dialed in, guys. It's almost a shame to have to stop. We finished this entire wing membrane. Look! Eee, it's almost done! Hey, Cajun Mage. Yeah, I'm glad you like that fix. Yeah, it's just something, I've got all these little things in my brain that I've learned over the years and years and years of mini painting. Non-zero value. So I use the watercolor brush I use watercolor brushes for everything. And the reason for that is because as a painter who prefers layering techniques, I am always working with extremely thin paint. So the brush that works with thin paint is the brush that suits my painting style. And watercolor brushes are made for that. So they really do fit exactly what I'm doing, almost always. So I find a mixed purpose brush isn't just going to work quite as well. The other thing is when you're doing fine detail, watercolor painters do fine detail, especially wildlife painters who work in watercolor. So the small detail brushes in watercolor lines are generally better for mini painting because they're built to do exactly what we need them to do. Is there a paint that's a good mint color? There is. Why can't I remember? It's 9260, 64, 63? 63, I think. I can't remember what it's called. Mint green, maybe. I think it's 9263. It's between the pale blue and the blush pink. Is it called mint green? Did I actually call it that, sibling? Yeah, yeah, non-zero value, I always go. I go for always Kolinsky sables and always watercolor lines. Well, there, 9263, I was right. Awesome. It's good to know that my brain has not completely abandoned me. I'm gonna just add this tint of pink on the inside of this wing membrane, and we will be like done with the interior of this wing, guys. A little bit of pink. But yeah, I mean, when you're painting with colored water, it just makes sense to use watercolor brushes. I mean, they really are a great tool for that. Let's see here. I'm going to get the top here. Might have to like do a little bit of layering to blend this in. Just going to start pushing it onto that. There we go. Kind of just muddling it in there and just taking some water and kind of feathering in the edge to make sure I don't get any lines. Oh yeah, remember we're doing our giveaway because we are almost doing our giveaway. We have like another 15 minutes to our normal stream time. Any questions, guys, since I'm almost done with this lovely veiny dragon wing interior? Yeah, that's the thing, Grim, right? It's a lot of work, but it makes a big difference. Like the little details are really what add a lot of life to it. Like I could have just painted it blue-gray, right? And it would have been just fine. But it looks so much cooler just for all these little small details. The little blush color even just adds to everything, right? And then you end up with something that looks really cool. And actually, that's what I really enjoy about miniature painting a lot of the time is I like to paint a model that you can see from a distance and go, wow, that looks great. But then the closer you get to it, the cooler it gets, right? It's like Soldier, my Soldier statue's like that, right? You can look at him across the room and he's like, oh, that looks neat, let's go see it. And then the closer you get, the smaller and smaller details you see until your brain starts to explode because you get to the point where you're 3 inches away and you're still seeing fresh details. And I love that. I love the Easter egg kind of thing that is that, where you can put in details that you can appreciate close in and far away. You never know when you're done. Yeah, I know. I mean, I could keep going on these, but it's just like I've defined kind of a level that I want these to be at. And right now, I'm like, would I be happy with this? And I'm like, yeah, I would be. Essentially, I've got like the Reaper gallery level, right? Where I want it to be cool looking and I want it to look good if people come up and see it in the gallery. But it's not like a competition level, right? Competition level is a whole different beast. That's what Soldier is. That's the 140 hours mark. We don't want to go to the 140 hours mark. Yeah, big minis rock. I love big minis. I'm really fond, Lucadio, of bust painting lately. There's so many good busts out there. I've just been going a little crazy. Cornico, 50-50, inspired and intimidated. No, it's not bad at all. You could totally do it. I mean, inspired all the way. No intimidated. Don't worry. I mean, the bottom line is go slow. You can always paint it over. Like when I'm trying to like do some sculpting now, like for the first time really in my career, by doing some heavy conversion work on a bust, and it was terrifying, and it's still terrifying. But I just tell myself, just go slow, incrementally, do it a little bit at a time. If you don't like it, you can always redo it. Then, you know, Shirogami daunted. No, it's really not that bad. Not that bad. I will give you all my secrets. Just keep watching. Watch me do it over time and experiment a little bit with some of the techniques on your own. And if you want a lot of like more focused instruction, my Patreon is a good place for that if you want to go there. Otherwise, I do try to touch on as many topics as I can here on stream. I'm just redrawing in my struts now. It was just with pure black. I do really start with one of the few times I use pure black is as a base coat for black dragons, because I intend to be highlighting with so many different colors that I want to start with the actual color of the dragon. Whee! Let's see. You always end up buying two of everything, Dr. Bob. I have done that, actually. I've usually done it when it's like I have two ideas for a good color scheme. Ha! Yes, Norwegian Gadget Man, if you are having fun, you are doing it right. That is totally it. Fang and Claw Hobbies, you made a stream. You did. Welcome. You made it just barely. Hey, but we're going to do our giveaway, Fang and Claw Hobbies. So, if you want free paint, get that hashtag free in. We're giving away the colors that I was using to paint this dragon. So we're giving away Swamp Green and Runic Purple and Blue Liner and, let's see. Bright Skin Shadow and Swamp Green, Russet Brown. It's all good stuff. Dragon White. Yay! Oh, and I forgot to mention subs. Also, for those of you who are new and may not have done a lot of Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free sub that you can use on Twitch. It does not cost you anything. It comes with your Amazon Prime subscription. So if you go up to subscribe on anybody's Twitch stream, you can hit the down button, and it should give you the option to use your Twitch Prime sub. So if you want to subscribe and support the stream, like, you can totally do that, and you don't even need to pay anything if you are an Amazon Prime person. The downside of the Twitch subscribe is that you do need to renew it every month. They do that because they would like you to spread the love around a bit. But just so you know, I try to tell everybody that at least once a stream. Because I did not know that when I started following streamers, and I found out about it. I'm like, you mean I can give people money for free every month? Awesome. There we go. Just touching up all my sloppy work. Hello, Pesler Polychromatic. You made it. Remember that? Oh, you did hashtag free. There you go. Oh, you have the older Aparthakisis. Oh, that's a classic, Lucadia. Yeah, you're never going to get another one of those, so definitely do a good job on it. She's a classic for sure. It's nice to take some of those older models sometimes and do a really nice job on them. The hobby has come so far since they painted the box art for that. 2020 out of 5,000. Yeah, it's hard to find those nowadays. Ha, Tazlanch. Yes, there we go. That's equity. That's marital equity. That way, relationship equity means you buy one for your significant other so that they don't steal yours. I mean, so that she can paint one too. Dr. Bob, your wife is resisted? Tell her that we're really good at this and she'll end up kicking butt at it. Like, women are anal, perfectionistic, and detail oriented, and but we do a good job in this hobby, trust me. Also, it's fun. Oh, Fang and Claw Hobby is very good. Good that you've got the wife that paints with you finally. Dr. Bob, I will hope for you. I will hope that your wife will pick up a brush eventually, just to give it a try. Does she have other artistic hobbies? Oh, Arcane Void. Yeah, that's really good. You wouldn't want to fight over the minis. Or make your D&D group suspicious because they're always fighting two of the same thing. Ah, fairies. And Rulers of Hell. That's right. Those are such great minis. All right. Too much detail, it would drive her nuts. Well, maybe she could try something bigger. We'll keep working on her. I mean, she's not watching, but we can work on her for you. Ah, yeah. Oh, was it? All right. Oh, yeah. Color schemes from Eldracar. There are as many color schemes from Eldracar as there are colors in the rainbow. Nobody has done the rainbow Eldracar yet, I don't think. Well, I'm pretty much wrapping it up, guys. So, I guess we should give it to Justin to do some giveaways now that we're 9 minutes out. What do you think, Justin?
Yes, final call, hashtag free. That's it, nothing else. No, don't put it as a part of a sentence because it won't count it. Just type hashtag free and you'll be entered to win a couple of sets of paint here that we're going to give away.
Yeah, dragon paint. Paint that Anna's used to paint the dragon.
Correct. How many bottles is it again?
7.
Awesome.
Because it's a lucky number, right?
And actually, while we're waiting for that last call and you're finishing that wing up, I have a quick little story from our Pathfinder game that we started up
Oh no!
a week ago. So our first combat we have experienced with 2nd edition and as a group was last night. This particular combat involved a drake. And it's kind of, interesting because you're painting a dragon. They're not the same, but...
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so we encountered a river drake, to which I should give a little bit of backstory. Our group is comprised of a gnome bard, twin goblin monks, a elf ranger, and an elf wizard. I play the wizard, of course, because, wizards are awesome. Anyway, so we find the egg, of course, that we're looking for from this river drake along the river, and our 2 goblin monks have the bright idea, well, they are goblins, mind you, to just go in head first.
Oh no.
Needless to say, both of them end up unconscious and on the bank at multi-levels of dying within the first 5 minutes of said encounter.
In our defense, the drake was not visible when we went to go get the egg.
Oh, yes. But,
Collins plays one of those, by the way, one of those monks. So tomorrow on Reaper Live, you guys should give him crap for it. But yes, and then the wizard and the not hunter.
Cajun Mage says it's a
Ranger.
little hard to hear you sometimes, Justin. Make sure your mic is adjusted.
Talk right close to it like this. Sorry.
Eat your mic.
You have to eat the mic, and I know that. I was just.
Yes, you're just
some
Justining.
Yeah, I was not paying attention.
So anyway.
So the wizard and the ranger had to clean up the fight while the gnome was running around in circles on a horse.
Because gnome.
Because
Really?
she was trying to do athletics checks constantly with a 10 strength. So
So it sounds like a typical role-playing game, really.
it was a blast. It really was. It was a lot of fun.
Delicious mic. Eat the mic. Yes.
But,
Rip.
because we had briefly talked about maybe streaming our Pathfinder 2nd edition game, but
Well, you didn't know if it was going to be entertaining. Like, you have to make sure you have the right group
Yeah,
that's
that-
going to be entertaining.
that one encounter last night took us, oh gosh, what, hour and a half, I think?
Yeah,
It
'cause
took forever,
Pathfinder.
Because, yes, Pathfinder, and we're all learning as well.
Yeah,
in the 2nd
yeah.
edition.
And that's not it's a complicated system.
So once maybe we have it down, we've discussed it, we might end up streaming it Tuesday nights, but we'll see. I'm not going to super commit to anything yet because, the whole group has to be on board, but it is a lot of fun. And I will encourage you guys, if you haven't yet, you should check out Pathfinder 2nd edition.
That's the brand new thing, huh?
Yes, it is. I think it
The
came out
redo.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, did it? Wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It's brand new.
Crazy talk.
And with the conclusion of that story, it's time to draw names for a giveaway.
Yeah. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? I can't wait to hear. He's clicking buttons, everybody. It's very suspenseful. Drum roll.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and give away 3 since we have 72 people watching right now.
Wow, that's my lucky number.
Oh, well, there you go.
Thanks, people.
Let's see here. So our 3 winners, plus our 1,000th follower winner, which was, I assume that person's
Yes.
still in here. Our 3 winners are RGE Wolf. I'm going to go ahead and announce it.
Yay.
Jasper the Second, and Fang and Claw Hobbies, actually.
All right.
Look at
Yay,
that.
Fang and Claw. It was worth you coming on. Awesome.
So what you will do,
Congrats, guys.
if you won, what you will do is send me an email at reaperlive@reapermini.com with your mailing address, your Twitch handle, and maybe even special notes. You guys can, of course, say anything you want to, and if it's information, we'll pass it on to the pertinent person. No? So if you have nice things to say, feel free.
If you have bad things to say, you can make me cry.
Yeah, you can say those too. If you have things that you want to just talk about, then that's up to you guys. Anyway, the email, in case you didn't catch it, is reaperlive@reapermini.com. It's also going to be in the description of the YouTube video, so it will be there a couple of times, and we usually ship stuff out by the following Monday because we give things away on Reaper Live as well. So we try to do it all in one
There we
one
go.
go.
Just finishing up my touch-ups here, guys. Yay,
Oh
wing.
yeah, do you want to show them the paints?
Oh, yeah.
Once you're done there.
Do. So these are the paints that we're using to paint the dragons. So it's got like our greens. You see the cool opalescent kind of green-purple effect we're getting here. So it's got the Runic Purple, and it's got the Swamp Green, and it's got the blue liner that I was using with Dragon White to make the inside of the membrane color here. And then it's got the Russet Brown and the Creamy Ivory that we were using for Dragon's horns and teeth. And I was also using the brown a little bit on his scales. And then it's got the Bright Skin Shadow that we were using to glaze the wings to give them more of an organic look. It was also used in Dragon's mouth. Where are you, Mr. Dragon Mouth? There he is. Rawr, inside my mouth, he says. Wait, I'm in the wrong place. There I am. Yay! And I also was using that to glaze the wing membranes. So give it more of that fleshy look. And that is your selection of free colors for today. Yay! And these are also some of Anne's favorite colors, by the way. Blue liner and Russet Brown and Creamy Ivory are never far from my work area. I use a lot of Runic Purple now, too. There you are. Yay! Yes, I showed you the fabulous prizes, Dr. Bob. All right. I guess this concludes our weekly stream, and I will be out next week, guys. But the week after that, the first, the pre-ReaperCon day, is that ReaperCon Eve? Yes. Yes. Wednesday before ReaperCon is officially named ReaperCon Eve now. On ReaperCon Eve, at some point during that day, Justin and I will be getting together and doing a stream from the convention center. So I don't know if it'll involve painting or wandering around randomly, kind of scouting out the vendor hall, or just, you know, bothering people who are trying to set up the convention. But it'll involve something. So, all right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody, and we will see you in a couple weeks.
And real quick, yes, Phyrician, we will put the numbers in the YouTube description.
Yes. And we should also, we should put, and we'll try to remind you guys in advance about the next stream.
Absolutely.
Yay, thanks for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, and thanks, guys, very much.
Yep. Have a fantastic day.
Have a good weekend, and maybe I'll see some of you tomorrow.
Ooh.
Reaper Live.
Oh, Reaper, that's right. I always forget to tell you guys about Reaper Live. I always assume you already know. Who would want to miss Ed and Ron? But there you go. Reaper Live tomorrow.
6 p.m. CST.
6 p.m.
Bye, guys.
Bye.